Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we are taking a deep dive into, well, a really blunt source. It's excerpts from a PDF called The Perfect LinkedIn Post, a masterclass in modern influence by Carol Mergel.
A masterclass, no less.
Exactly. And our mission here is basically to dissect this thing, to really understand the anatomy of the perfect LinkedIn post, as Mergel lays it out, just based on this guide.
Right.
So if you've ever been scrolling through LinkedIn and thought, what's the secret sauce here? Or just wondered why certain posts seem to blow up, well, this deep dive is for you. We're looking at this specific framework for influence.
And it's fascinating because Mergel doesn't just observe, he presents it as like actionable tactics. It's very results focused, maybe even a bit cynical about what actually works on these platforms.
Yeah, cynical is a good word. He's kind of stripping away the polish, right? Looking at the mechanics he sees underneath.
The underlying engine.
So he starts right at the beginning with what he calls the foundation. And step one, according to Mergel, the power of generic inspiration.
Ah, the classics.
Totally. We're talking about starting with something super generic. Think, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That kind of thing.
Universally recognized.
Exactly. And Mergel flat out says its power is because it's universally relatable by saying absolutely nothing. He even adds, like, bonus points for misattributed genius, sticking that quote on someone famous who never said it.
So from Mergel's view, starting this way is, well, it's safe, it's broad, you offend no one because you've said nothing specific.
Right. Maximum reach, minimum risk.
It's like establishing this non-threatening presence immediately. Influence through the lowest common denominator.
Lowest common denominator, check. Okay, so on top of that generic quote, Mergel says you need the celebrity endorsement hack.
Oh, this should be good.
Yeah, so or he even says AI generate a picture of someone famous looking, pensive and wise. Then you basically attribute your thoughts to them.
So make it seem like Einstein is pondering your latest shower thought.
Pretty much. Like they're personally endorsing your brilliance. And, get this, he says you get instant credibility if you Photoshop yourself awkwardly in the background.
Wow, okay. So the generic quote makes you relatable, and the celebrity pick borrows instant authority.
You got it.
It's a shortcut, isn't it? Building this appearance of wisdom and appeal without actually, earning it through substance, just association and vagueness, according to this masterclass.
Like building a house of cards, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, foundation laid. Now, Mergel dives into the language you need, the language of success.
Let me guess. Buzzwords.
Oh, absolutely. He
Or-
calls it crafting your buzzword tapestry. And he lists the essentials. First, synergy. He adds, because what even is business without synergy?
Can't argue with that logic, I guess.
Then disrupt. You're not just changing things, you are disrupting them. Very important. Innovate, even if, he says, your innovation is just repackaging old ideas. And finally, scale. Just scale. Scale what? His answer.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, just scale it.
So according to Mergel, using these words isn't really about clear communication. It's like a signal flare.
How so?
It tells everyone else, using the same jargon, hey, I'm one of you, I get it. It's like a professional uniform made of words, signaling you're in the club, regardless of actual substance.
Right, putting on the uniform. And it gets better. Mergel says you need the strategy component, the advice. Use strategic before random nouns. Just
Right.
sprinkle it in to sound important.
Strategic coffee break.
Exactly. Drop terms like market positioning, even if, and this is his example, you're just deciding where to set at lunch. And use tactical execution because, quoting again, everyone needs a strategy even for ordering lunch.
So buzzwords plus strategic, everything equals. Sounding smart.
That seems to be the idea in Mergel's framework. It creates this aura of business sharpness. You sound like you're doing big things, making moves, even if the post is about, well, your lunch strategy.
It's all about perception, building that linguistic facade of competence.
You start seeing it everywhere once he points it out, don't you? Okay, this strategic talk leads into dreams and goals. And guess what? They stay vague.
Shocking.
He says, dream big or go home, but focus on nebulous aspirations. Big, bold dreams that inspire awe, but require, wait for it, no actual specifics.
And Mergel's angle on this, the vagueness is the point.
Exactly. You become a vague visionary. The less defined, the more profound it seems. He actually says reality is for amateurs.
Which cleverly avoids any need for, actual plans or accountability. You can't feel a goal you never really defined.
Spot on. And for extra flair, Mergel suggests attributing success to cosmic manifestation. Why? Because, as he puts it, it can't defend itself.
Huh. So claim future success or explain past wins by pointing to the universe. No need to detail the hard work or steps involved.
The universe did it, which transitions perfectly to Mergel's advice on setting goals. Same principle.
Let me guess. Vague and unmissable.
You nailed it. Declare intentions so vague they're impossible to miss. And you must celebrate milestones. Post every minor achievement as if you've cured cancer.
Okay.
The golden rule. Avoid specifics. Avoid accountability. And for maximum content efficiency, recycle annually. Same vague goals year after year. Consistent content.
So vague dreams plus vague goals. It's all about projecting ambition, right? Showing momentum without needing actual concrete progress.
It's the performance of striving, designed purely for how it looks online.
Ambition as content, designed for likes, not results. A performance for the feed.
Now, maintaining this performance means showing up. Merkel calls this the presentation game. And it's mostly about consistency, but maybe not how you'd think.
How does he break it down?
Percentages. In the consistency charade, he allocates 80% showing up. Because, quote, showing up is most of success.
Okay, 80% just being there.
Then, only 15% actual content. His logic. Quality doesn't matter if you post consistently. And finally, a tiny 5% original thought. His advice. Keep this minimal. Original thinking is risky.
So Mergel's hierarchy is crystal clear and, yeah, pretty cynical. Just being visible, posting often trumps everything else. The quality, the value, the uniqueness, way less important.
It's just about staying in the feed, reinforcing your brand. Presence beats substance.
Presence beats substance. That sums it up.
Got it. And while you're showing up consistently, you need to present yourself carefully. Mergel calls it authentic inauthenticity.
The ultimate oxymoron, right?
That's exactly what he calls it. The strategy is to curate your reality, filter out anything truly personal or controversial.
Keep it smooth, keep it safe.
And actively stage candid moments. Because, as he says, nothing says authentic like a perfectly posed surprise photo. The goal. Be your true, curated self.
So, according to Mergel's guide, online identity for influence isn't real self-expression. It's construction, management.
The carefully managed persona.
Yeah, presenting a version of yourself that looks authentic enough to engage people, but it's totally filtered. No real vulnerability, nothing negative. Authenticity as a marketing tool.
Authenticity as performance. Okay, so you're showing up, being curated, interactions happen. How does Mergel say to handle those? Engagement tactics, starting with toxicity management.
How to deal with the haters, basically.
Kind of. He gives percentages again for how to view commenters. 70% are not recognizing your genius.
Okay.
20% are who disagrees with you. Only 9% offer constructive feedback. And your own behavior. That accounts for a mere 1%.
That's quite the filter for feedback. So basically, ignore almost all criticism. Externalize everything.
That's the framework he presents. It's designed, from his perspective, to protect the ego, maintain the illusion of perfection. External validation is king.
Validation over reflection. Got it.
And speaking of validation, he tells you how to get it. Calls it the empowerment illusion.
Empowerment illusion. How does that work?
It's about framing your quest for metrics as empowering others. There's like farming. Empower everyone to like your post. Make them feel good for clicking. Share seeking. Inspire others to spread your wisdom, basically flattering them into amplifying you. Comment cultivation. Ask questions you don't care about just to boost engagement.
Fake questions for fake engagement.
Seems like it. And follow phishing. An empowering post is measured by whether it should net you at least 10 new followers.
So Mergel's cutting right to the chase here. The language is positive, empowerment, but the goal is purely transactional. Likes, shares, comments, followers.
Exactly. Interaction isn't connection. It's a lever to pull for more visibility.
Deceptively framed, too, making the audience feel involved while they're just boosting your stats in this model.
It's quite a perspective. Now, Mergel adds some specific advanced influence hacks, like the classic humble brag symphony.
Ah, yes.
The art form. He breaks it down. Reluctant recognition, like, so honored for this award I totally deserve, but will pretend surprised me. The casual drop. Just a regular Tuesday meeting with famous CEO, you know the type, attributing success only to hard work attribution, yours, exclusively, and universe gratitude. The universe blessed me with this Ferrari.
So humble bragging, in Mergel's view, is about showing off without seeming to show off too much.
Right. Maintain that thin veil of modesty.
It lets you highlight success, make sure people see it, but you soften it slightly. Carefully managed boasting.
Managed boasting.
Yeah.
Fits the curated self, doesn't it?
Right.
Then there are even more specific hacks, like the pet engagement hack.
Pets on LinkedIn.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Mergel says, nothing says thought leader like a perfectly filtered shot of your cat judging your life choices.
Huh. So inject some curated personal life to seem more human and get different engagement.
That seems to be the tactic. A bit of calculated cuteness.
Tactical cuteness, okay.
And this leads to a section the source explicitly calls the female engagement multiplier. Now, we need to be really clear. We're only reporting what this specific source says here.
Understood. What does Mergel claim?
Okay. According to Mergel, strategic exposure, which he defines as a strategically exposed shoulder, leg, or hint of cleavage, is presented as absolutely priceless branding.
Priceless branding.
Okay. The source then claims this tactic increases those likes and follower counts sixfold. He puts this under engagement metrics, and he frames it all as personal branding, asking rhetorically in the text, it's not about professionalism, it's just good personal branding, right? So again, strictly Mergel's words and framing in this document.
Right, and analyzing Mergel's perspective here, he's reducing physical presentation purely to a tool for metrics. Within his framework, he's analyzing what he perceives as cause and effect on numbers. He strips away context, professionalism, potential objectification. None of that seems relevant to his analysis. He presents it solely as a quantifiable hack to boost stats, even questioning if professionalism matters compared to the number. It's incredibly blunt about prioritizing raw metrics in his view.
Yeah, just reporting the source's take. So Mergel lumps these diverse hacks, humble brags, pets, strategic exposure together as ways to grab attention and boost engagement, often outside of typical professional content.
It's all about manipulating the feed, driving numbers up, regardless of content depth.
Which brings us to his final advice. Your LinkedIn conquest awaits.
The grand finale.
He wraps it up bluntly. Advises you to copy others. Why? Why be original when you can imitate successful posts?
Oh.
Instructs you to post empty content because it's not about what you say, it's about how many likes you get.
Oof.
Then claim victory. Tell everyone to go forth and conquer LinkedIn with these game-changing insights. And even at the end, use ask fake questions like, any perfect post elements I missed? Just for that last bit of engagement.
So the conclusion really hammers home Mergel's perspective from this document. The goal isn't genuine connection or sharing value. It's about mastering a formula for visibility. Success is defined rigidly by numbers, likes, shares, followers. Its influence as a game, played by these specific rules, according to Mergel. No ambiguity there.
No ambiguity at all.
Yeah.
So that was our deep dive into Carol Mergel's specific anatomy of the perfect LinkedIn post. From generic quotes and celebrity hacks to buzzwords, vague goals, curated authenticity, engagement illusions, and these advanced hacks.
Yeah.
It's certainly a metrics-first view of online influence.
It really is. And thinking about everything, Mergel lays out this whole recipe for the perfect post, according to him. Prioritizing blandness, borrowed authority, buzzwords, vagueness, performance, metrics above all else. What does that description, just based on his analysis, suggest to you about the platform itself?
That's a heavy question.
Or maybe, drawing only from Mergel's perspective here, what does influence even mean in this context, if this is the pathway he describes to achieve it? Something for you to chew on next time you're scrolling that feed.
Definitely something to think about. A lot to process on how online presence and perceived influence get built, at least according to this one masterclass. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.